And yesterday you heard some Yoku, they take notes. They won't tell you, but they take notes. The flavor is everywhere. And I want to draw your mind to something. If you are a party foot soldier or full soldier, or you're a party a person with an entrenched position, I want to draw your mind to something. Mr. Sekwame, despite recently had the 60th birthday anniversary, you saw the NDC and the APP, they were there. And people were asking, why did you go and ride in McDonald's aircraft? Well, they called me to a party. I went there. If they call me again, I'll go again. The fact is that I cannot inherit your enemies, and you should not inherit my enemies as well. We are looking for Ghana to become a better place, and which is why I will give special shout-outs to all those who dislike and hate me for what we do here. You will fulfill scripture, because Bible says, woe unto you if all men love you. Dieu, if all men love you. Bo, habo. Woe unto you. So I don't expect everybody to love me, but for those who love me genuinely, shouts to you. For those also who don't love me genuinely, or for whatever reason, and they hate whatever we do here, shout outs to you as well. You are the reason we survive. You are the reason we're empowered every morning to come and speak the truth to the nation. And having said that, I will say intimidation of any form will not win. Any day, any time. Intimidation of any form will not win any day and any time. And the people can see through the calculated attempts sometimes to intimidate. They say, oh, we want to intimidate, we want to unsettle. We are focused because we didn't start today. I had somebody ask another person, I had disguised myself, I was at a place. Then somebody was asking, so now Johnnie Hughes, TV3, I laughed. We see some of your ministers and your deputy ministers at the vetting table, and sometimes you see their work experience and you know that they have not even worked before. Some of them have not done real work before. Apart from being followed back in some party, they have not worked before. Some of us started long before we even entered the university with biscuit factories. Then he shared a shot from 2014. And people say, oh, you are hitting too hard at this government. You didn't used to do that. You have never done that. You hate President Akufo-Addo and his ministers, and you have something against them. Somebody has given you money to be hating on them. Well, I don't have time to be. This is 2015. This is 2016. Okay, so now let's go. This is 7 years ago. This is me, right? Now, it says, for example, this is my Facebook page, and I've not changed it. I have not changed my Facebook profile picture in a long time. I think from 2013 or 2015, I don't remember when. But I've not changed it in a long time. Now, on that occasion, I spoke about the Chiang DCE. I said, so this Chiang DCE was derailed mid-speech by mere rhetoric. He got infuriated, fumes, and walks out of the deba he was addressing. I honestly didn't hear him say anything apart from his brag. And the best they could do was to follow and beg him to come and say what? What sort of leaders do we have? What sort of DC is this? Chia, indeed. This was 8 years ago. 2014, this was me. It was John Mahama who was president. He's a Ghanaian. He has blood flowing through him. He was a human being as well. And you can see clearly that my tone has not changed. Me, I like opposition because somebody told me the other time, you like opposition too much. You don't want to get rich. I said, I want to make my money genuinely. So this was in 2014. This is me. This is not somebody's page. This is not Photoshop. This is my page. If you go there and you check, you find. And I'm not ashamed of anything I write. This was when I worked at TV Africa. Prior to that, I'd worked at Pravda Radio. Prior to that, I was at Plus FM. Prior to that, I was at Viasat 1 for the popular Good Life game show, the USA, the Ghana Health Service, the Johns Hopkins University. For those who have gone to school to a certain level, the Johns Hopkins University. Johns Hopkins University. Their behavioral change communication program to that level. So I'm not a Matra Makwe person. We have worked and we have stayed constant with the media. We started changing people's minds about things, about malaria, about water and sanitation, about maternal neonatal care, about nutrition, about family planning, and all of those ones. Where were you? When we were working on the sun with the Ghana Health Service to immunize people against polio and measles and vitamin A and the rest, where were you? When we're doing Community Connect, walking in town and walking through Bola and making sure that people are clearing the Bola, where were you? When we're hosting 4-hour morning shows, even as new entrants and all of that, where were you? So we have worked. We have worked. Now, 7 years ago, shall I say, 7 years ago, this was it. Again, I'll take you back to 7 years ago, 2015, all right? This was under President John Dramani Mahama. For those of you who say, oh, he doesn't see anything nice about President Akufo-Addo, he's always talking about them, about me in a bad light. This was John Mahama's time. He's also a human being. I said, 3rd February 2015, with all the economic hardship and acute water shortage, coupled with the hot sun that is left unharvested for the generation of solar power, I feel like I live in a dictatorial state governed by ... The MPP, my MPP friends at the time, who today say I am being too hard, they came under this post to comment. 7 years ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 years ago. Those same people who say, hey, don't touch him, don't touch the president, hey. They are the same people who were commenting on that. And I wrote this. I said there's doom kwan. Listen, economic hardship, nothing has changed really. And acute water shortage, the pipes still go off. Coupled with the hot sun that is left unharvested, we still are not thinking about solar power. We still are thinking about buying power banks and putting oil in it and talking about Akosobo water level is down, it's up. Same old thing with all the experts. I remember the Mr. Boachi Jakoto, the FPSRU, plenty English at the vetting table. Still, we are still at the same. I said, I feel like I live in a dictatorial state governed by ... ellipsis. I left it there. This was me 7 years ago. Let's go back to 8 years ago. Now, 8 years ago, I wrote this because there was somebody who had come up, who was an MCE or DCE under President John Dramani Mahama. And he had showed his scratchy powers, what we call, at a certain gathering where the chiefs were trying to say, oh, sorry, say, well, not talk to me. Oh, sorry. Then he played that video for me, the Chia DCE video. He was in a white or a cream political suit. Up till now, we don't know who said Chia. But there was a Chia DCE, and 8 years on, there's another person who is a DCE who has shown his Chia powers. So we're ready. Play the video for me, please. Okay, I'm sure they're looking for it. Look for it. Look for Chia DCE. You find it. It's in a folder somewhere. Now, there's also a Sekedi Takrady MC who is the new Chia DCE on the block, arguing with a policeman and even going to the extent of calling the policeman an ugly policeman. Play that video for me, a bit of it, and then we'll come back to that video. Play a bit of it for me.
So I'm saying I've called the patrol team. Okay. Your action, your behavior, your attitude have been reported. Wait, the patrol team coming to take you to the headquarters for further action, and you'll be detained for this. Attempted to knock a police inspector down.
Attempted to do what?
You wait. You and you are saying I should know the car before you refuse to. I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Good. I will not insult you. I'm a professional police officer. I will not insult you. But I will teach you a lesson. I'm a professional police officer. I will not insult you. You can insult me. You can do whatever you like. Yeah.
You don't know whom you are dealing with. You don't know whom you are dealing with. You can't beg him. What they do that nonsense? Hello, Doctors.
But why are you insulting police? Why are you insulting police?
Insulting
you do the nonsense. I am stupid. The whole police inspector is stupid. You insult me whatever you can.
I'll send you 20.
It's a place. Police are working there.
Yeah.
You heard the MC or DCE. And I like the policeman. I like his confidence. He was behaving like Peter Namfuri and Mr. Wuni of blessed memory. Mr. Walenkakis of blessed memory. He was tough. He knew what he was doing. A police inspector. And do you know what it takes to become a police inspector? You enter the service. You are a constable, general constable. You rise to become a lance corporal. You become a corporal. You become a sergeant. And then you become an inspector, sometimes a chief inspector. There's at least 4 years in between every rank elevation. So you enter constable, 4 years lance corporal, another 4 years corporal, another 4 years sergeant, another 4 years inspector, another 4 years chief inspector. 20 years or so. And even that is not a hard and fast rule because some people, because yesterday I told you the top is choked. So there are some sergeants who are waiting for promotion who are not getting. There are some inspectors who are waiting for chief inspector promotion who are not getting. There are some corporals who are waiting for their sergeant positions. They are not getting. They want to be elevated, but it's not there. The top is choked. Somebody who has risked his life wears the crown of the state. Is being told by the man who is supposed to be the head of his municipal security council that he is ugly and that he doesn't know who he is. And unfortunately, he has Goro boys following him, praise and worship singers, like I tell you, singing his praise. Because he knows in his heart of heart that nothing will happen to him. He knows that absolutely nothing will happen to him. He is happy to break the law, and then he's still happy to say, well, you wait. And then he makes a phone call. You see where we are now? So now, play the CRDC video for me.
We have been given the platform to talk. But we are now platform. Because I don't work on I don't know. Yes, sir. What is it? Who is your what do you mean by fear? What do you mean by fear? I will tell you something. When you see somewhere and behave like you are talking to your co-equal, am I your co-equal? You are to behave. If you are a hospital worker, who are you? Why do you have to behave in that manner? Well, I'll find that machine. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
Pure arrogance of power. Share the hashtag Johnny's Bite. Like, comment. And I'm sure you have encountered a few of them who suddenly get into power. This was 8 years ago. What we played before for you was just a few days ago, maybe 2 days ago. We played a portion of the video where he was actually threatening the policeman that he would transfer you to Enchi, the ends of the region. You are threatening a policeman who is asking you to do the right thing, that you threaten him and transfer him to the ends of the region. Because you know that you have failed to provide better amenities there. So you think that when you transfer people there, you are punishing them. God punish you. And to think that we had to wait for Act 936 and Article 2431 to be abused by the president in the name of we are looking for the best, the brightest and best. We are going through vetting the regional level and the Jubilee House and all of that, trying to shortlist. We've been done by the MPP party gurus. And then this is what we are getting. Secondly, Takrady, take me back to the reasons why there's a vetting committee that was set up. They were first vetted at the district level, vetted at the regional level. They brought them to Jubilee House to vet them, to shortlist them. I'm sure he was with other people. They dropped them and they picked him. Oh, Danny, open the folder for me quickly. They dropped others and they picked him. And this is what we are getting. This is the reason. This is the reason the man was picked. This is the reason. There's a reason for the vetting. Let's open this one first. Now, this is what the vetting committee report said. It said Western Region, District, Secondary Takrady Metropolitan, shortlisted applicants, Abdul Mumin Isa. This is a report by the MPP. I didn't write this. It said the committee recommends Mr. Abdul Mumin Isa for renomination as MCE. It means that he was the previous MCE and has been given a second term for this nya. Now, Abdul Mumin Isa is a former chairman of the party in the Takrady constituency. So there's partisanship first. Not necessarily because he's qualified, but there's partisanship first. That patronage. There's partisanship that because he has served the party, even though he may not be qualified for it, because he has served the party, let's give him the opportunity. That was the first consideration. Second one, from 1997 to 2008. Now he says he's the current MCE who, from all indications, has acquitted himself creditably. This didn't show creditability. Then he says he plans to improve job opportunities, which is good for the youth, and decongest the city of Takrady, Secondary Takrady, of the haulage trucks that park on the roadside and drive the 1D1F agenda. He is renominated. Listen to it. It says, and to the haulage truck that park on the roadside. What was the offense? What was the policeman stopping? The policeman said, you are driving on the wrong side of the road. There was traffic. He wanted to drive on the same wrong side of the road, on the shoulders of the road, that he himself had said at the vetting that when he comes again, he will stop. Maybe he wanted to clear all of that part so that he will be the only one driving there. Because how else do you explain it? Maybe he wanted to clear the wing so that he's the only one trying to drive there. Play the video of revered economist and NPP stalwart Mr. Kwame Pieni for me. He spoke at the Atamil's Heritage launch. Play that thing for me. He had something special to say about repackaging politicians and giving it to the people, and then later on finding out who they really are. Play that video for me. He spoke.
A man of peace and of courage. The process of acquiring political power is like putting mineral ore through fire, a furnace. If the character is good, it comes out shining. The character is bad, it worsens the character. It's no different from the process of losing power. When you lose control and you are in prison, prison reveals if the character is good, you become better. Your character is bad, it becomes worse. I'm going to refer to two Dagomba sayings. They are not sayings. An old Dagomba person taught me. He said, if you dress up a donkey as a racehorse, on the day of the race, it will be revealed for the ass that it is. So the press and media can dress up.
He spoke truth to power, but he actually said, truth is power. I didn't say it. Who did we dress up from the vetting committee room to give to the president to sign? In the name of we have the men, governed by a long-standing, respected lawyer, handing over to himself. We had to wait for 9 months. We abused Article 936, Act 936, the local government law. We abused Article 2431. And here we are. This is the result. Well, we were promised that we would elect our own MMDCs. It was a promise that was made to us by President Akufo-Addo in the 2016 election. When he came to power, Haji Halima Mahama with him has started the process. We went all the way to the point where we got the bill done, and then we had to withdraw. That process went to the point where there was a sharp disagreement between having a partisan position on it and not having a partisan position on it. This was at the time when we had 169 NPP MPs and 106 NDC MPs in Parliament. So it was not the hang Parliament that we have now, 137, 138, 137, 137 plus 1. We had a whole huge majority. If they wanted to pass it, they would have passed it. But Haji Halima Mahama, who is now an ambassador, we had to withdraw the bill in a typical Kotoko Kekereke Bobium style. And mind you, I've told you what the numbers are. Now check out this one. There's Article 2431. Maybe you have to fight for me. Article 2431, that's talking about the powers of the president appointing the MMDCs. And that's where sometimes party communicators want to confuse you. Don't get confused. 2431 has no consequence on Article 55.3. Article 55.3 is very specific. 2431, it says, there shall be a district chief executive for every district who shall be appointed by the president with the prior approval of not less than 2/3 majority of members of the assembly present and voting at the meeting. This had been done after we waited for 9 months for the vetting. You ask John Boyd, he tells you, we are looking for the best, blah, 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 blah. So this one, there's no ambiguity about this. It is the president's right. And people have been advocating that. Take that right from the president because he abused it. Now, look for 55.3 for me. Now, this is Article 55. In our 1992 Constitution, and the preamble says, power emanates from you. It's not from the political class, from you. Now, it says, the right to form political parties is hereby guaranteed. Look at 55.3. Subject to the provisions of this article, a political party is free to participate in shaping the political will of the people, to disseminate information on political ideas, social and economic programs of a national character, and sponsor candidates for election to any public office other than district assemblies or lower local government units. So when we said that we didn't want NDC, MPP at the local level, because even at the top, we have made it so entrenched that even if the man is qualified to do the work, we don't care. We won't give it to him. The government at the time wore their ego on their sleeves, and they withdrew the bill like a child who had gotten on the football pitch, and then because he's not good at the football game, because the football belongs to him, they say, we won't give you Sele, as we call it in the coach team. And then he says, well, if you won't give me Sele, then I'm taking my ball away. We saw what happened at the Jura. The MC, Salisu Bamba, the head of the music, he fled with his family to safety when the Gidi Gidi matters happened. Today, you are insulting a policeman that is ugly, you transfer him to Enchi. You are abusing him. But when you call a MUSEC or a DISEC meeting, they are the same police officers, ugly and useless and transferable and abusable, that you will ask them for advice because you, Mr. MCE, Mr. DC, whoever you are, wherever you are, all of you, you have no training in security. And I want to salute the IGP and the police administration for leading from the front. I want to salute them this morning for leading from the front, and I want to see where this case traveled. Because this man has campaigned for votes. If he had addressed rallies and begged the people for votes, like the MPs do, and people hold their feet to the fire and queue at their gates to ask them for money, he would not have misconducted himself in this way. But you see, he represents just the president. He is not accountable to the people. So whether the people are happy or not, if Jubilee House is happy with him, he's fine. So you go into an office, an MC does what they like, a DC does what they like, the people don't like it, he doesn't care, he comes to the presidency, gives a fine report, and goes back, and everybody is okay. And everybody's okay. He assumes he's the boss. He thinks that he should be served rather than seen as a servant. When he summons a meeting, I'm saying it, when he summons a meeting, it is this ugly policeman with 20-25 years of experience who will be guiding him and say, hey, boss, this one, if you do it this way, these are the repercussions. Can we say that the vetting committee, after waiting for 9 months, they did a bad job? It is obvious. Mr. Kwame Pieni said, if you dress up a donkey and you take it as a racehorse, on the day of the race, it will be exposed for the ass that it is. This is the race. Can we say that they picked the wrong person because they had options? And I always say MPP doesn't lack people. It is because of the unnecessary partisanship and patronage, and if you don't have a godfather or godmother, you are sidelined, which is a shame. Mr. President, can we say that you are reaping the consequences of ignoring the grassroots? Because we all know what went into the selection of people like this. And we all know the clarion call from the grassroots. Now they are showing their crutchy powers and their true colors. Can we say that this case will go nowhere? I don't want to believe so. But what I do know is that power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. When the power of the masses is left in the hands of a few, which is what happens at the election of MMDC's endorsement, President nominates a few people, they will be pardoned. And we saw videos of how people were being bribed and people who were returning money that had been given to them to say, we won't take it again, endorsing MMDCs. Mr. President, I want you to leave a legacy this morning. I want you to leave a legacy respectfully in the local government sector. I want you to be able to be bold enough to fulfill your campaign promise that we will be giving the right as citizens of this country and not spectators to elect our own MMDCs. People like this will never get a chance to be MMDCs. Like the Chair DC video that I played for you. 8 years ago, he didn't learn a lesson. 8 years on, he has repeated the same thing. He told the vetting committee he will clear the sides of the road so that it will be free for the people. They believed in him, they endorsed him. Then he chooses to drive on the side of the road. And he said, you can't do anything to me. Abuse of power, arrogance of power. Mr. President, let the people choose their leaders. Just as we queued to choose you. You promised, you must deliver. Keep your promise. Be a man of your words. That's all I would say to you. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Good morning.